the Moon series. Sipping on my coffee. And the moon is in Taurus, exalted moon. I'd like to talk about the moon, natal and transit in Taurus significations and how to self-care with the moon. So this is a part of the moon across the zodiac series. And I'm Tali Shear on Twitter, Shelly Youngwood on Instagram. I do readings. And because I don't go through the mumbo jumbo of having, an entire staff or website or all those things that we would require me to spend not only a lot of money but especially a lot of time. Um, that would be dedicated to something other than serving you. I'm able to provide readings for $50 a reading because all my expenses are, other than allocating time for these videos, which I love doing anyway, is looking at your chart, listening to you, giving you readings on the tools that you need. No branding, marketing advisors, staff that I do appreciate. It just would require me to be a CEO, and I am an astrologer and a very bubbly, talky person that likes to communicate with people and has the ruler of the seventh and fourth house in their second house where they can make money out of their own skills. So this means that I like to make my money with being very skillful about bringing clarity to one-to-one relationships of any type, to how to self-care and how to make sure your worldviews, beliefs, places you travel to, what you study best serve your interest, um, and kind of caretake for you as a form of being a better person. So this is me, and without further ado, let's go to the moon. If you ask if I am teaching, yes, one-on-one. You would need to tell me what you want to study with me, and I can do a workshop for you. I don't currently have a website of any of that. So, moon. Moon takes 28 days to travel across the zodiac, the whole 12 signs, and it moves the fastest. It's closest, other than the ascendant, of course, it's closest to the earth. And so it is very much affecting our lives. If you were born with the sun underneath the horizon, okay, sun between first house underneath your ascendant and seventh house underneath your ascendant, then you're probably a night chart and you're even more affected by the moon. But even if not, the moon is both how self-care. It's basically the circumstances of our birth given is the moon in our natal chart. Um, it is also the caretaking figures that are lunar in our lives, those more yin, like those figures that we tend to project things on um, rather than them projecting things on us. Yeah, the yin versus yang. Yang is more the solar. The moon, it rules one of the eyes, I'm not sure which, and I think that if you're right-handed or left-handed, it changes the eyes that it rules for you. So it rules, together with the sun, it rules the eyes, it's both, your eyes and then also your third eye. Third eye is ruled by the sun and the moon together. So vision, okay? It rules your emotional needs, even if it is, let's say, in an air sign or in a fire sign, it rules your emotional needs. It also rules the fluids and very much affects the fluids in our body or the fluids on earth, right? The tides are very much affected by the moon, also by the sun, but very much by the the gravitational relations between the Earth and the Moon. Because the Moon is so close to the Earth, this is so also what we will use when we want to make contact with other planets. So whatever the Moon is contacting, whatever other planets the Moon is contacting in your chart, will be planets that affect your emotional well-being. And then it will be a matter of figuring out how do you tend to those effects, if it's remedial or if it's just leaning of it as a source of power. The house that your moon is in matters because it's where do you self-care, okay? And it is also a relation to, together with the fourth house, the homeland. So that is also something, the land, the homeland, the motherland is something that is also partially ruled by the moon. Taurus. Taurus is an, oh, sorry, moon is ruling Cancer, cardinal water, exalted in Taurus, fixed earth, at fall in Scorpio, okay, fixed water, and yeah, that's Sol in Scorpio. Oh, yes, and of course, um, in detriment in Capricorn. And I did the moon in Capricorn, I think, as the beginning of this series. Okay, so these are the places where the moon is happy. It is in its joy. For those who do traditional Hellenistic astrology, the moon is in its joy in the third house, which is the house of our daily routines in many ways. So it's something that happens every day, and the moon is quickest of the planets. So it is a joy in the third, because if we self-care every day, then if we tend to ourselves every day, then we are a daily happy person. Um, so that's for the moon. Taurus, fixed earth sign. So um, the moon being this lunar, watery, nourishing, that which rules the tides. Okay, when it comes to the earth, Taurus, then of course when the moon is in, bringing water to the earth, it exalts. But then, in Capricorn, it doesn't. Capricorn is Saturn ruled, and Taurus is Venus ruled. So we are much better off understanding a planet in a sign as a planet in a domain that is the home of the ruler of the sign, as just to try to understand the sign itself. So Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is our sensual pleasure. It's where we de-stress and think how compatible is our self-care womby planet, our nourishment planet, with our basically sensual, tactile pleasure. Well, I have Venus in Taurus natally, so maybe for me it seems more natural, but think how compatible these two are. Okay? How compatible is the moon is a Venus-ruled moon? When our sensual pleasure, when our sense of value, when our sense of self, when our voice in our voice is done in tandem with our true emotional needs for safety, for security. When we express ourselves, look at how am I speaking now when the moon is in Taurus, huh? I have Venus, Natal Venus in Taurus. It's not on my Venus right now, but look at me recording a video about the moon in Taurus when the moon is in Taurus, versus me recording, a video about the moon in Capricorn or the moon in Pisces. and look at the difference in the energy. So, scratching my. Is it the moon ruled eye or the sun ruled eye? I'm not sure. But it was scratching. It was scratching. I don't know how to astrologize this. Um, with the with that Venus, we get the expression of a voice and also enjoying music. We get we would pay attention to being beautiful or our appearance or beautiful things for the sense of pleasure in it. Okay, this is where, if we're being fully stereotypical, the Aphrodite putting on makeup for because she likes how it feels to powder her face, rather than because she likes to be seductive to other people. Or this is where, a person putting on a perfume. I recently read an article about perfumes, natural perfumes, and how people with the digital age, because they're more alone and everything communication is through digital, they ask for the scents that are not the seductive scents, but actually the scents that make them feel better. Oh my gosh, this is such a moon Venus thingy. Okay, I want this scent because it makes me feel better. So it's almost difficult to separate once you bring the energy of moon to Taurus. It's almost difficult to separate. It's like the water that nourish the earth, and you don't know. But then now the earth is wet and fertile and moist, and you don't notice where is the water and where is the earth. Because I'm trying to give you Taurus and moon separately, and it's like, oh my gosh, they blend into each other so easily. I talk about Venus, and then I talk about the moon. I talk about the moon, I talk about Venus. And this is how, and the way that they blend is not that one loses itself in the other, but that one nourishes the other. And so we have a fertile ground for something to grow on. So if you have this placement natally, self-care is also tactile pleasure. And the things that you would do of Venus, expressing your voice, singing, listening to music, attending to your appearance, you would do for self-pleasure. You would do because you care. This is how you nourish your needs. But of course, Venus is not just appearance, and Venus is also the good food or the luxurious food. I have my cup of coffee here. This is such a, it's a cup made for this coffee, made for the machine that brews the coffee. That very Venus. This is very like, oh my gosh, this is very caring for yourself. And again, Taurus is fixed, so caring for yourself with your daily cup of coffee that is especially brewed, that is from this special, not necessarily the brand is what matters, but it's that special scent, it's those special coffee texture, or the how you like to drink the coffee, and those things can be very meaningful. Your daily cuppa can be very meaningful to you with this, with this placement when it's natal. And then it can also mean things because Taurus deals with matter, okay? And the moon with something that is more emotional, in a way a bit more ethereal. It also means that matter matters to you emotionally. So you might be enjoying being surrounded by beautiful things, but also you could actually be a very good caretaker of your own finances. If both Venus and the moon are well aspected, because tending to growing your finances or growing You know, I have Venus in Taurus, and in my money altar, I have a tree, a tiny tree, that I water. And this is, you know, this is how I get connected to desiring to care for my wealth. And so it can be an emotional connection. Think about banks, okay? Taurus, Venus and Taurus is so much, you know, banks and banking system. The banking system is more Capricorn, is more, you know, Saturn ruled, but the banks, what is the bank? It's the place where we store our precious matter, precious metals, gold, money, um, and the place that caretakes for this. Okay, the original reasoning for banks. Now people are like, oh, banks are terrible, banks are this, it's a Ponzi scheme, it's this, it's that. But originally, why did we put our money in banks? We wanted to have a place that is safe for them. We wanted to have somebody who caretakes for our gold. We wanted to make sure that it is safe. Again, safe, safe, safe. What is a safe, right? We wanted to make sure it has a place, that it is nourished, that it is cared for. We allocated a construction for that. Okay, Saturn is the triplicity ruler of earth signs, structure, construction. For that, we allocated a room for that in the house. Okay, we allocated a place where we give it very 3D, tactile things. And um, having moon in Taurus matters to you. And this also means that you're very much, you can very much enjoy nature for its substantial support of holding the space for you. Thriving is a big word with Taurus. And the other polarity is Scorpio. Scorpio is surviving. Scorpio is having good survival skills. Taurus is thriving. It's like I'm not looking only to survive, I'm looking to thrive in my life. And the C words are you know, are big with Venus in general, but the C words as in care. Compassion is more Venus Pisces, but um, care for something, being catered to. Um, Also cleverness, because you get into because you get into the essence of how matter is fertile. You can you can have an intuitive business skills, or have an intuition about a certain land, a certain property, which is also real estate, the moon, that you want to have, that you want to buy, or that you want to design. And Venus is also about great designing abilities for giving a user experience of pleasure and ease, and a sense of thriving in the place, and a sense of a place that is comfortable, a fertile land to grow in. Okay, it's not the Venus of um, it's not the Venus of Libra, which is very balancing. Right now, Venus is in Libra, so it's not the Venus of Libra that is balancing between things. It's the Venus of Taurus that is thriving a fertile land, making sure the land is fertile, making sure you have the right nourishment, you have the right time. Okay, Saturn, triplicity ruler, taking the time to self-pleasure, taking the time, not only in sexuality, drinking your cup of coffee, okay? Um, Taking the time that is yours, taking the time to replenish. And this was done with food, this is done with tactile experiences, this is done with tending to what you see, to what you hear, um, tending to your voice. This is the kind of physical and bodily practices that would benefit your feeling more nurtured. So getting a womb massage, if you have a womb, or getting a massage in general, but it's always going to be by someone who has skillful hands, who has the right type of touch and pressure that you want to have, that you feel comfortable around, feeling comfortable around people. And think of how these things that we deem as um, spoiled are actually so essential to our survival. Do I feel comfortable around this person? Do I feel home, nourished by this person? Okay, if you're looking, let's say, for an astrologer, watch a video of an astrologer, and before you think about calling them, it's like, do I feel nourished in this energy? Is this energy compatible with mine? Do I feel comfortable there? Do I feel comfortable speaking up, voicing my voice? Um, do I feel heard? Do I feel seen? Okay, think of how essential it is to human relations, Venus, to business intuition, again, Venus. We make business with people. We always make business with people. Can I speak to the person? Or am I speaking, with a digital system that doesn't see me? Do I trust the person? Do I feel comfortable around this person? Are my boundaries, with Taurus is very territorial, are my boundaries respected by this person? Um, and what happens when we take the time to nourish ourselves and replenish? How does how does something grow? If you plant seeds in a fertile ground, you need to make sure that the soil is fertile, so it is moist enough, so it has its biodiversity that can protect and not require too much attention from you, other than to plant the seeds, to water the soil, to be in good energy around your earthwork, and then to harvest the fruits, or to harvest, to harvest basically. Okay, so a lot of the growth process is done by being with things and holding space and being a fertile ground for something to grow. Are you a fertile ground for you to grow as a person? And how this growth is, it's about holding this space and being tender and listening and seeing and observing and enjoying to watch something grows, enjoying to watch yourself grows, and enjoying to take the time with things. So important for something to actually flourish. Think about the conversation where you take time in between your words. You're not feeling awkward about silence. So much more powerful and so much more connected than a conversation where you don't have yourself in there, because you were taught that to take the time to you is, I'm getting immediately, my womb is like contracting when I even talking about this energy. Um, and those kind of conversations where people try to find fillers for everything, or afraid to voice their voice. Those are not the kind of conversation where something can grow and something can flourish. To voice your voice. And when you take the time, you will find the words, you will find the tonality, and then you're less stressed about something and you can deliver a message that is contributing growth of something. So this placement, the moon in Taurus natally, the Venus ruled moon, is exalted because the native, when it's well aspected, tends to do just what I said. They tend to take the time for themselves. They tend to make sure that they are replenished. They tend to allow things to be and allow things to grow and allow things to flourish. Relationships is something that comes easier. They tend to care for everything emotionally, including their cash. So they want their, they want their wealth to grow. But also they will not hesitate to invest in something that they believe might grow, and to invest also the time and the effort to make sure that where they put their wealth in, where they put the energy in, they are allowing something to grow from there. And so they increase their wealth, they increase their well-being, they increase the ease in the world. We need those moon placements. This is a very good moon placement. If you don't have the moon in Taurus, this is a very good moon placement to have a talisman that you work with, that reminds you to make time, to take the time to make time. So what happens if we are in a negotiation or in a business or in life in general? Sometimes person can tend to overplease people, and then it's just the right partners, whether it's business partners or whatnot, that if they took the time for themselves and to really enjoy life, then they would draw in the opportunities. They would draw in the people that respect their time, and also the people that would provide the kind of partnerships that would provide for that growth, because that growth is very much important. Think about our land, okay? Every 7th year, the ancient communities, like Judaism, do not plant anything new on the land, and they let the land rest for an entire year. Understanding that this is vital to the health of the soil, and this is the food that we eat. This is how we nourish ourselves. Our food needs to rest. Our cell phones need to rest. Everything needs to rest for something to grow. And so this natal moon placement is an excellent intuitive self-care when it is well aspected. It's a force of a great anchor, a safety house for the native. And it's very good to harvest when the moon is in Taurus, to harvest a good election whenever possible, and to put it into something. It can be a crystal, it can be a jewelry, it can be an essential oil blend, and do it when you practice, do it when you know what you're doing. So lovely to see, 3 people watching now. Just me taking the time to enjoy this video, and it's performing so well. So there you see, I entered talking about this in natally and talking about the transit, and it's so flowing. One thing merges into the other so naturally. So naturally that the transit of the moon in Taurus is so good, if it is well aspected, to harvest in favor, to put it into some material object, to something of matter that we can harvest, that we can wear, that we can take with us for the times where the moon is not so well aspected, for maybe if we have a personal moon that is not so good at performing. So especially if the moon and Venus are in good connections, and if Venus is in a good place and the moon is in a good place and none of them is harshly aspected, this would be an excellent time to harvest for your talisman. And in life, it is an excellent time to drink a lovely cup of coffee or tea that is actually nourishing for you, to enjoy the pleasures of life, to take the time for things to grow, to water your plants, which is something that I'm going to do after this video, to water yourself, which is something that I obviously need to do after speaking for so long. A very pleasant time to be around. But this is so pleasant time to be around that when it's well aspected, yes, do try to put the energy into a crystal or into a talisman, or like to make sure that something will last, like to have a memory from there that you take with you, and you can use maybe even every day, because this transit is so fluid and so natural and so yin, like hey, the moon yin in the yin ruled sign, so good for relationships, so good to enjoy before the eclipse right now. Um, then it's just natural. And so with with this transit, you may find that you enjoy those things of Venus as self-care, those things of Taurus as self-care, um, uh, that you have good emotional experiences. Again, depending on what's in your Taurus house and how is it aspected, uh, and um, and what does it, what does your chart bring to the table? So you could have, of course, range of experiences. But all in all, it's a very good transit to have. If it's a new moon in Taurus, great time. First crescent moon, even better time to plant seeds in the soil for something to grow. Okay, something growing wealth. Okay, planting intention to grow wealth. Grow a plant and have your money altar around the plant, or your wealth and well-being altar around the plant, that you water, that you tend to, that you care for, and then with the passage of time you will see something growing, and then not only the plant will grow, but also your wealth will grow, your wisdom will grow, your well-being will grow, and all those things that maybe you were taught to think of them as opposing you, wealth opposing you, well-being opposing you, will become to be something that you work with, that grows with you. Okay, it's also great aspect for business, because good business is win-win. That the parties grow together and make wealth together and benefit together from something that is nourishing. You can't go wrong planting a tree. You can't go wrong watering your flowers. These are simple actions, some that don't carry, unlike the Libra aspect of Venus. These are simple actions that don't carry that much weight of moral decisions. Am I doing something right? Is it okay? What are the implications of what I'm doing? It's like, if you nourish the soil, if you nourish your plants, if you water your plants, you're probably already relying on something fixed, something you can do time and time again and still have good results. You still did the right thing. Okay? Of course, you need the right amount of nourishment. So, but it's probably not a bad idea to grow a plant. It's probably not a bad idea to nourish yourself with good, healthy food that you enjoy. It's probably not a bad idea to look at tending to your appearance from a place where you have tactile pleasure, of the powder you put on, and what is this powder, how is it made, is it fair trade, is it nourishing for your body, is it all those things, and how pleasurable it is. You're trying little by little create, that is your plant. Angel Ramirez, oh, this is so beautiful. Would you like to share more about your business, or what are you doing? If your business was a plant, would it be? Just waiting because it takes a while for comments to appear. Detail cars. I'm not sure what detail cars, but cars is an excellent, Venus venture. Venus is absolutely ruling um, cars, transportation. Getting all your stuff little by little. This is so important to do it step by step. Wash and wax cars. Oh, that's absolutely something that everybody needs. Everybody needs that. You know, we all want our cars to look beautiful, to care for them. Yeah, it's such a great idea. I always like seeing the videos where they have a dog. You go with your car and with your dog inside these machines, and not the dogs that are afraid of it. Some dogs adore it. Some dogs just love it. Huh, this is a great idea. Think about, how the simple things that people need to do every once in a while and have a good service that they trust for making the car look well, to clean the car, um, and to take care of our transportations. This is also part of what, a Taurus moon water, Venus, cars, so washing cars. That's very nice. And you see how I make a video about a certain energy and the significations of their energy beginning to arise. Um, so definitely, if you have like an altar for your business, or maybe the space for the room in the business, you might want to grow a certain plant and kind of keep watering it and have the significations. I don't know, of cars or something. Then you watch it grow, and then you can also uh, yes, it's true. Washing the car, yeah. I mean, it, it's very, washing your own car, while it's lovely, it takes a lot of times, and also to do it in a way that is efficient and actually clean, both inside and outside. It's better to take it to a place where you know that you can trust that it's done correctly, and you can allocate that to somebody who knows how to do that, and kind of, when we can caretake for that, and there's another person, another business making money doing something good to the world. um, and our car is way cleaner than if we would have cleaned it ourselves, unless all we do is clean our car. Exactly like you, Angel. Where you from, where you at, where can people find you? Just waiting for the comments. It takes a while. Los Angeles. Oh, lovely. The people need a lot of car cleaning in Los Angeles. It's the weather there. Yeah, in Cali. So if you're in Los Angeles and you need to clean your car, you pass by this person. Do you already have the name for the business? I drink more coffee. Yes, what's the name? It's patented, so anybody can't steal the name for this business. Mhm. Okay, but this is interesting. Do you know your own chart? Do you know where's the moon in your chart? Where is Venus? Where's Taurus? This is lovely. If you're an astrologer watching this, or an astrology enthusiast, whenever you decide to record like a video about something, business cards and menu, wow, that's lovely. Design time, May 19th. Oh, still gonna be sun in Taurus. So if you're recording a video about astrology, as much as you can, with the moon it's easier because it's easier to access, right? Try to record when the actual energy is in effect. Um, this is how all these beautiful things happen. You're gonna get all these significations into your video. You can observe your current reality and things can become more tangible. Yeah. So this is lovely because my Venus is in the third house in Taurus. I have the sun in Taurus. Third house is also what we do every day. And so here I meet this person who runs a business. It's also cars, right? Venus is cars, and the third house can be transportation. Or where we go, we have to travel the short distance travel. And there I meet a person who actually is opening a business of cleaning cars, okay, washing cars. And this is something that people can drive by. So very good business idea. I wonder, yes, I wonder what your third house is looking. Do you know your chart? Do you know your ascendant? Let's see. No. Okay. So if you have your birth details, you can actually go to astroseek.com or astro.com. You can insert your birth details. Of course, you can contact me for a reading. That's always possible. Um, it's $50 for a reading, and then whatever questions that you have that I can help with. Um, but you can also, like, you don't need to rely on me to know your chart. You can just go to astroseek.com or to astro.com, insert your birth details. It's important for the birth time to be there if you want the ascendant and the houses. And then you can know all this information. You're going to have your natal chart, which is useful information to have. Um, and that would give you a whole lot of interesting data about you. So good luck with your business. And feel free to drop a comment when you like when it's opening or where it is, and yeah, that would be great. I don't do electional astrology yet, but there are people who also do electional astrology that can advise on where to take major steps in your business that will be supported by the cosmic time. So that is also something you could use astrology for. And I have colleagues that can do it. I know Kira Reiberg did that for a whole lot of people. Kyra Reiberg did that for a whole lot of people. I know Lisa Schein does electional. I don't know if she's still doing readings. So yeah, and if you don't know your birth time, there are people who can do rectifications. Like Peter is great and is having a course in rectification, so you want to check these people out. And if it is something like making sure that what I'm doing is in alignment with what is good for my self-interest, then I'm the go-to person. So I'm Tali Shir on Twitter, Shili Youngblood on Instagram. I'm also Shili Youngblood on Facebook, but I do write mainly in Hebrew there. Um, so yeah, you can check me out, and I do readings. If you want to book me for a reading, you can contact me, either leaving your contact details here or on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to study a particular topic with me, you can approach me to do a one-on-one workshop with you. Um, and that is something that I'm available for, but it's something that needs to come from you. It's not something that I'm offering to the wide audience at this time. So I'll see you in my next video. Have a lovely moon in Taurus and harvest the energy of today. Like really harvest and enjoy the energy of today. Because when the moon is going to get to Scorpio, we're going to have an eclipse. And it's, yeah, quite intense one with Venus there. So I did a video about the eclipse, and I might release them in time. And in the meantime, Have a lovely, lovely day. Bye. Bye, Angel.